This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Ready? Focus. Lock in. Buckle down. From the Great Lakes to all corners of the globe, let your passions shine with purpose in your zone. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who's tuning in to another episode of In Your Zone, brought to you by INCRadio Great Lakes. I'm your host for today, Gabriel Romero from the local congregation of Bloomingdale here in the district of Great Lakes. And I'm so excited to once again have another moment to share with you the hobbies, passions, and interests of our brethren here in the district of Great Lakes. And if you have anything that you would like to contribute to our topic for today's show, you could do so as always in our YouTube live chat there on the side or down below, depending on the format of your screen. And if you have any suggestions on guests who you want to see in the future, any topics that you want to learn about, please always reach out. You can always reach out to us anytime. Just let us know because we love having a variety of topics to talk about here on our broadcast. And for today's broadcast, we're going to bring back a familiar face. We will introduce her after we give you this reminder, as we always do. Don't forget to focus. Okay, so for today's show, we've got a familiar face, like I've said. She's been on our INC radio broadcast before, but we were so excited to bring her back once again, as it is a timely and relevant topic, as you see in our overlay there below. Let's say hi again to our sister Zenny, there from the local congregation of Louisville, Kentucky. Nice to have you with us again for our broadcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Abe, for having invited me.
Yes.
First of all, I just want to shout out to my Facebook followers.
Yeah, you have a large group of viewers already, I assume. So that's good to see and good to hear about, Sister Zenny. For our topic, as I think loyal viewers of our Northern Midwest broadcast know, that you are a well-known, I'd say, in terms of your gardening skills, and we've shown your garden in the past. But for today's topic, because spring, depending on where you are, at least here in the US, it's right around the corner. We've had some days where it was nice and warm, other days where we've had to put on a jacket again. But it is
like today. It's actually warm outside, and in my porch right now it's about 85 degrees.
Oh wow, a big temperature difference. But overall, I mean, around this time of the year, it is gardening season. So for today's topic, we're going to talk about, especially for those who aren't too familiar with gardening or don't have a green thumb. We're gonna get a basic introduction into how you can start your own plants from seedlings, and we'll talk to our sister Zenny about that a bit later in our broadcast. But as we always do, for our initial discussion, we always like to ask our guests how they first developed this passion or hobby. So for you, how did you first become familiar, or how did you first fall in love with gardening?
Well, since I was younger, because I grew up in a compound where I only have like a 4x4 courtyard. So I never really have any place to garden. So when I go visit my grandfather in Nueva Ecija, He always have he has an orchard of mango tree in the back, and there's a lot of always a fresh vegetable in the front of his house. So
Ah,
that's my upgrowing. It's remembering all those good tasty vegetables.
a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm sure it brought back a lot of like familiar memories too, right? When you're talking about when you were younger, like playing in the field, or when I think you said you were helping out, right, from time to time, um, in the fields, if I remember correctly in our discussion.
Yeah, I have Lola Roman used to send us to the rice field and pull all those whatever leftover the rice, and then he'll pay us like I think 1 peso or whatever bundle we get. But that's not my real Lolo because that's in the side of my Nana Ella's relative.
I see. Okay. Well, still any exposure to this hobby that you're developing now. I mean, it's always fun to look back about how it all
Yeah,
began. So from then,
they were my influence. However, when
yes.
we bought this house that we have now in Crestwood, when we bought it initially, like it's like hopeless because we inherited a lot of trash and garbage.
Oh no.
So when we clean up and we saw the possibility, I said I want a big garden. So right now my garden's about 2,000 square foot.
Wow.
That's how large is my garden. My vegetable that's only vegetable garden. That's not
Oh,
including my water pond around the house.
wow. Okay. And for those who are first time viewers or haven't known about your garden now until now, they'll be able to see a taste of it in this presentation that we have now. But while this is playing, we will see some of your gardening in progress. What are some types of flowers, vegetables, types of plants? What have you grown in your garden?
Well, most of my flowers is actually coordinated to my vegetable because a lot of the vegetables need pollinating, and especially the ampalaya and my zucchini. So I need some flowers to attract the bees. So the bees is the one who actually helped me out to get some harvest. So my flowers are like marigold. That's also deter any insects that will kill my zucchini, and also the flowers on my ampalaya. Yeah, because they're very sensitive. They don't really grow. They don't really produce fruit by itself. So you need to help them. And a lot of times I have decorated flowers, but just that's to attract butterflies in my everything around my house. It's always there's a reason for it. Like the we had a bird feeder because we want to attract more birds because it helps the resource around. When you have birds, you also gonna more likely invite butterflies. However, the bad thing about it is that I also attract a lot of critters like raccoons and squirrel. Squirrel loves my birds food. Raccoon loves my corn. So every year I try to grow some corn and I never see the fruit because the raccoon always beat me to it.
You're feeding more than just your family. It looks like.
Yeah. Well, when you have a big garden, you tend to give it away. Just like 2 years ago, some
Yeah.
of mine, we can't keep the harvest. So we actually give it to the nearest food pantry. So that's one thing good about it is because you're giving away some for good, for people that needed some food. And it's fresh.
Yes. Oh, that's good. Yes, that's always a good reminder for us that you do have fresh food at your disposal. But speaking of your garden, we were able to see how big It really is, and you have a lot of, you've grown a lot of flowers, vegetables. There's a lot of variety in what you're growing, right? Hazeni. So how do you continue to, like learn about these new varieties that you can grow in your area, or the different types of methods? Because of course, not all plants will grow the same. So how are you continuing to learn about what are the best, gardening practices?
There's one, my grandmother Catalina used to tell me, like, if you don't know it, learn it, and if you fail, start over. And that's what I've been doing, just starting over. When I fail, I just, go back to the first system, and I just let. However, some of over the years that, especially being married to Brother Jerry, who's grew up in the farm, I learned a little bit here and there from Brother Jerry, but he's from the old time. So, you need to upgrade your skills. So I have a lot of books from homesteading, and I belong to some I follow some YouTube. Yes, like I said earlier, YouTube University. Anything you want to know, it's right there on YouTube. One of the person that I follow is Simple Living, because they start they don't buy anything. Everything is from what they make, from the scratch, and they're the one I would actually learn. Um, don't disturb your soil, because all the benefits is on the soil, so you just keep adding on the top. She said, don't disturb your soil. That's what when I did that. Although I made a mistake, this one YouTube, they said, if you want to save some money, because I have raised bed, they're 6 foot higher. So to fill in, it's gonna cost a lot of money to fill in. So somebody said fill in with a bunch of woods, branches. Well, that was the biggest mistake, because none of them dissolved. They just, every time I garden, I always hit the branches at the bottom. So I took them all out, and now I'm just all soil, which helps me, because it's actually my vegetables, grow better.
Good to know. Speaking of like the soil that you're talking about, is there a certain place where you get all of your materials? We saw the last picture, I think, in our slideshow. You were at I don't know if that was a nursery or like a seed farm. I guess is, I don't, for lack of a better, or seed barn, maybe, if that's what you call it. Where
Oh,
do you get your materials?
okay. Well, my seeds, because I love to pick heirloom. Heirloom seeds escape from generation to generations. Like, I have a seeds probably back in 1800. So I don't know if I still have it, but I, as far as I read it, it started from 1800. So those seeds, it evolves over time, and I got that from Baker Creek Heirloom, or in their website is rareseed.com, and you pretty much gonna get all the type of seeds from Africa to their seeds is all around the world. It used to be they just mainly here in the United States, but over time they grow. And the other one that I buy my seed is called True Leaf, True Leaf Market. But they're also have a lot of Asian seeds.
Mhm.
But one seed that I can't buy to them is kangkong, which I ordered that in Amazon.
No.
You can order anything in Amazon,
Yes, that's true.
moringa, anything that you want. Actually, even calamansi. You can order the calamansi plants now in Amazon.
Wow. That's
But I've read that kangkong is not really they don't really like in the state doesn't really like them because they're invasive, meaning it will grow all over, and it's like my bamboo. You can't
Mhm.
do it. You just keep growing and growing and growing. So that's why some states doesn't like them.
I see. Okay. Like it will disturb like the natural like ecosystem
Yeah.
of the area. Okay, good to know. So we can't just plant really anything we want, as
You
much
have
as
to
we would
you
like.
yeah, with kangkong you have to make sure you contain them.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Lastly, before we get into the next discussion, for you, Sister Zenny, why is gardening? I mean, we've kind of talked about it already in terms of being able to grow your own vegetables or like decorating your home. But why is gardening such a beneficial skill that anyone can have, should have?
Uh, it's another reminder for me. Like I keep hearing my grandmother in the back of my head. He keeps saying, "If you don't go out there and grow your own food, you're gonna go hungry," which is true because there's. I mean, I wish, you know, back in when back in the days, I wish I did that. Like I could, grow my own food. Then I would never. At one time I did suffer with hunger, and I keep remembering my grandmother's old saying that you need to go out there, work hard, and and plant. Basically, they said you plant your own food, you're never gonna get hungry. But anyway, uh, learning the one thing good about it is like where your food coming from. You grown it, so you're never gonna have. You'll be protected from bought store. Like they a lot of times they have a recall because of some salmonella got into the water. Or the other thing is it's good for your health. If you eat a lot of greens, it's healthy for you. Maybe less medication.
That's always a bonus. That's always
Like I
good
said, less meat, more vegetables, out of sight of doctor.
to have. I think we all would love to have love to have
Yeah,
that.
we all do.
Well, thank you so far for your tips and your background knowledge on gardening so far. But as we go into our next segment, we'll learn a bit more about the details, the finer workings of seedling growth in our next segment, which again we always call lock in. For you, Zenny, and for everyone watching on YouTube, we're going to learn the fundamentals of the necessary items you need to start your own mini garden. I guess. I mean, if you have the space, go ahead and do that. But we'll learn about fine tuning the certain materials that you need, like soil, water, etc. But I do want to read just one comment that I saw on YouTube. Um, Someone is asking for a favor from you, Sister Penny. Our sister, what is this? Joanna Antonio. She said if you have extra seedlings, she would
Oh,
like to have some
my regular customer.
for the customer.
Yeah, they always
So,
come in here and ask for seedlings. See,
ah,
I don't mind because instead of giving them my harvest, they can actually plant their own.
oh,
They harvest their own. They bring their own harvest.
okay. So I mean now with our broadcast, they'll be able to you know try their hand at gardening. So let's start with um, the base, I guess. In other words, the soil.
Yeah.
What should we look out for in terms of the soil?
Well, for starting the seedling, the most important to it is you use peat moss, vermiculite, your own compost, and manure. Those are the magic, what I call magic to make your seedlings grow faster.
Mm.
But like us, because we're surrounded by trees, a lot of my soil is come from the dry leaves that's every fall. That's what I do. We gathered all the dry leaves and put it on my raised bed, and then put some soil. And then the other thing, the important secret to any soil is worm casting. You need to have a lot of worms
Uh,
because worms help make your vegetable grow better.
I'm maybe not a lot would be too interested to learn that and trying to like get their own worms, but like you mentioned, right, it helps with the composting. And I think
Until
there
when
might.
the compost is all, deteriorated, you
Oh,
would not see anything like it was before. Before you kind of like, oh, this look like a throw up thing. But it's once the compost was done, it's the rich soil. I mean, they call it gold. The black soil is gold. Like a
mm,
black water is your also gold because the black water is the water from the compost, and that's what I normally fertilize my garden is the black water.
okay. So let's continue on with that then. Speaking of watering, um, how should we water our plants? Except for not overwatering. We know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't water like I did with my and I'm sorry, my ampalaya. I drowned it,
Oh no.
so it doesn't grow. But the best water is actually rainwater. Like you have to harvest your own rainwater. Did you notice it when every time is after the rain, all your plants is lush and green and they grow bigger? It's because rainwater is good for you. Even if taking a shower, it's actually when you go to shower with rainwater, it's actually make your skin smooth. That's what before when we don't have water and electricity, we living off grid, and pretty much everything we use is rainwater, and I didn't realize how benefit is rainwater is.
Water.
So
Okay.
so rainwater is better than the city water because
Ah,
city water has a chemical on it and it's not really benefits to your garden.
that's
So if you can harvest rainwater, that's good. A lot of my in fact my uh, roof is connected to my pond. So whenever that it rains, it goes directly to my pond. The one that you saw in the picture earlier, that's connected to my roof.
oh, okay. So you have your own irrigation system in a way. In
Yeah,
a way.
my own reservoir.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Let's go now to
But
I
I
guess
but
oh
before
yes.
that, I
Yes.
just have to make sure it's okay to your state because there are
Oh
some
right.
states like Utah are not allowed to harvest rain.
Oh.
Don't know why.
Oh, interesting.
I learned that like 3 years ago. It's like, why can't I harvest your own rainwater? It's good for. I guess it's
Okay. Well, speaking of, you mentioned like state restrictions, there's also ones, or maybe it's a state restriction, or it's just more of a overall caution when it comes to the types of seeds that you plant, right? Because
yes.
why is that actually?
It's it's not the ecosystem. I think it's just because they get out of hand. Like
Mm,
I have a bamboo
yes.
in my backyard, and if we don't cut it, they'll just keep. It's
Hmm.
actually getting to my garden. Actually,
Yes.
there's some already in my garden. A good thing about it is in my where my used to be where my chicken coop area, so
Hmm.
we can still tame it. But yeah, bamboo is one of those like you don't want to be. That's actually right now it's prohibited here in Kentucky that you can't plant bamboo.
Okay. So other invasive species of plants you have to watch out for.
Yeah,
But what are, on the other hand, what are like appropriate for this time of the year?
this time of the year you're well every time on the spring season
Hmm.
because like me I'm in zone 6, so
Yes.
not all the plants I can put it on the ground.
Hmm.
So what you have is right now is spring season in my area, all your greens and all your roots except for sweet potato because sweet potato requires about 80 to 90 degrees. So if I put my sweet potato outside, it will be just dead
Mm,
because or it will be the growth is not fast. It will
I
be kind of like dying for the leaves.
okay.
Because a lot of us Filipinos love the leaves,
Yes.
especially the young one,
Hmm.
because we put them in our Filipino dish.
Yes. Yes. So to reiterate, so like leafy vegetables like spinach or cabbage or
Lettuce,
lettuce, that is appropriate for this time of the year
Yeah,
because of
they
it.
call it
Yes,
cold crop.
cold
So,
crops. Okay.
so uh, I think uh, maybe zucchini. It depending on what kind of zucchini it
Hmm.
may grow. But right now we're pretty warm here in Kentucky, so it's so you're tempting to go out there and and put something on the ground, but you never know. It might be another cold weather again comes in. Nowadays it's just like you don't know what the weather anymore.
I mean, that's what we're used to that in the Midwest. We don't know what the weather is going to be
It's yeah.
tomorrow.
When we used to live in Charlotte, somebody said that, "Oh, you're gonna be okay here because it's always gonna be warm." Our first year is winter, snow up to 1 foot. And then somebody said, "Oh, you're gonna be okay in Kentucky. It's warmer. We never have seen the snow." Of course, first year, I think we're bringing the snow.
You take the snow wherever you are. So
Yeah, wherever we are, they're following us. So if I probably move in Florida, I might have
you'll bring
seen.
the snow. Well, I don't know if Floridians would like that, but interesting to hear. But again, it's a good reminder that the seeds and there's a lot of factors that are incorporated with choosing the right type of seed, the lighting, the watering, the
Yeah.
temperature, the climate, the type of soil. Those are a lot of things that you know you have to consider when choosing the right kind of seed. But
And how
before
you actually
yes,
use what kind of like I will show you my first.
yes,
Uh, this is my first one. My very first is the like very end of okay, you can see.
there it is.
January when I planted it,
Uh-huh.
and it's still not showing burly. It's barely coming out now, but that's what
Uh,
about 30 days already.
okay.
And I'll show you the one I just planted 2 days ago.
Okay. Yeah. If you're able to show it like near your head, near
This
your
is
face.
2 days ago. I'm first time I'm gonna remove the plastic.
Okay. Oh, if you can raise
That's
it
just 2 days ago.
higher, there you go. Now we can see it.
Oh, you can see.
Uh, if you can raise it a little bit higher, there you go. Okay. What is that?
And, and some of the seeds I started this year is uh, I never planted before.
Okay.
My first one, I'm sure everybody's gonna get jealous of this.
We're getting a live tour of her vegetable
Can
garden.
you recognize what's that?
Oh, not from here. I can't tell it. What is that?
Malunggay.
Malunggay. Ah, okay. I'm
You know
sure.
what malunggay is?
Let's see. I feel like I've seen it before. I'm not recalling what exactly it is. I'm terrible at identifying my plant.
But I got lucky
Yes.
that this is my ampalaya.
All
And
right.
this is only like 3 weeks. And
Oh.
it's already about this tall. It's ready to be planted in the ground, but I can't yet because of the weather.
It's
But
nice.
I only have few, so whoever's waiting for leftover, don't hold your breath on it.
Okay. So you heard that, everyone in our YouTube live chat. Just be patient, and then she'll have a bit more plans to
No, I
make.
do have a little bit of this is upo.
Okay.
So that's why I like the snail system.
Yes.
Somehow they grow faster
Mhm.
in this kind of type of system. It's like the flatbed that I use. It's taking a while. And
Mm,
it's the same soil. It's a peat moss,
okay.
vermiculite, and compost. But it still hasn't doing nothing. I mean, they still about this big, just an inch or
Okay.
less than an inch.
All right. Okay. Sisters, our time is actually coming up to an end on our broadcast, but we're glad to have seen all of the plants that you have so far, and I think we saw in your video that we got a taste of what the snail system was when you're rolling up the soil and putting in the different layers, like the soil, the seeds. right? And we'll be able to share that with our viewers if they would like to learn more about this type of
Or
system,
just
other gardening.
follow me on Facebook,
Yes.
Lotto Maximo.
You can find her on Facebook. Before we do wrap up, is there anyone whom you would like to greet for tuning in to our broadcast today?
Yes, of course. I will not forget my two lovely crew, Sister Lovely and Chloe. And of course, just in time, my husband showed up, Brother Jerry. But I will not forget about the locale of Charlotte,
Mhm.
Marina Layug and Lucy Ancheta, who's been my longtime friend, and also my followers. And also, I would like to say hello to my brother in the Philippines. I'm sorry I kind of miss the family reunion, but I hope you had a good time in the Philippines and see you soon.
All right. Thank you again so much for joining us today, Zenny, for sharing with us your garden knowledge and expertise. And if you do have any questions for those in our YouTube live chat, you can always message us and we will forward your questions to her and send you back her response. She has a wealth of information, as you see, and a wealth of plants you can see behind her as well. And we would like to thank all of you, the viewers, too, for tuning in to our broadcast. And we also have some very special people we would like to thank, most of all. We would like to thank our executive minister, Brother Eduardo Villamanal, as well as our deputy executive minister, Brother Angelo Eranio Villamanalo. Of course, we thank you so much for allowing us to have this platform to share our hobbies, passions, and interests of the brethren here in the District of Great Lakes. We would also like to thank in the District of Great Lakes our district ministers, Brother Elmer Sarmiento, who is our district minister, and Brother Art Agag, our assistant district minister. We'd like to thank Brother Cameron Waterman, our CFO advisor, and Brother CJ Manalansan, our DMM multimedia advisor. And for INC Radio, we would like to thank those who are helping us in the studio, the INC radio station manager, Brother Wally Taray, our overseeing minister in our area, Brother Edwin Acebuque, as well as our executive producer, Brother Manly Andaya. We thank you all so much, especially our viewers, for tuning in. I hope you gained a lot of information and maybe you'll be able to start your own garden. Don't forget that you can tune in to In Your Zone every Saturday. That is 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. That is Sunday, 6 a.m. there in the Philippines. Don't forget that you can always give your suggestions to us, and we will try our best to incorporate them in our future shows. And before we wrap up, again, we would always like to remind each and every one of you that in your zone is where you and your passions shine the brightest. Thank you so much. Tune in again next week. We will see you then. Bye.
Bye.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice